Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks to The Hungry Gamers, back with another Kickstarter mini preview. Today we're talking about Hike from Snowboard Games. Now, this is a game where you are doing a, well, it's not technically the Iditarod, but it's something like that, where you're doing a dog sled race across the frozen tundra. And to do that, it's a bit of a drafting game, and I'm going to call it resource management. That's not quite right, but hopefully you'll understand as we go through. And in order to do that, you're going to be drafting your different huskies for your sled, drafting different equipment cards and cards to care for the huskies, and slowly be learning what there is coming up, what the conditions are in the race. Now, the way that it works is you're going to start the game by setting out a long line of terrain cards, and you can see what that looks like right now. And what's going to happen is the game is broken into two different phases. There's preparations, and then there's the race. During preparations, you're going to be drafting different husky cards. Now, as you can see on these husky cards, they have different symbols at the bottom. That represents the type of movement that husky is going to get you. And then through every round of drafting, you're going to get to learn more and more about what the conditions are out in front of you. And so if you take a close look at the terrain cards, you can see there's symbols down on the bottom of those as well. And once someone has filled in their entire 4x2 section of huskies, there are some rules about which huskies you can get. You always have to have the colors matching up next to each type of husky, though you can always get a young husky that's just kind of a wild, doesn't actually give you much of anything, but it will fill up your sled. Now, filling up your sled is important because if one person declares they are ready to race, meaning their sled is full, everyone else only has 3 more turns to draft what they need to fill their sled. If they fail to do that, they're just out. They're done. They don't get to play. So it does behoove you to kind of get a move on things a little bit. Then you're into the race. And the race is pretty simple. The first person to get to the end is going to win. And on your turn, you get to activate each of your huskies using their movement points. And you're going to use those movement points to move your way across the terrain. And so what's happening here is you have had to, as you are putting your sled together, figure out what huskies you want to be able to most quickly move their way across the terrain. Because you're going to get to use each of your huskies once each day, though there are some cards that let you use them twice, and that's as far as you go. Then you stop. Additionally, some of the terrain is going to require equipment for you to get across. So if you got the equipment, great. If you didn't get the equipment, then you're going to have to exhaust 2 of your huskies for the rest of the game. So you can still cross it. It's not like you're suddenly stuck, but you're going to cripple yourself if you didn't plan well. And then after that, it's pretty simple. The first person to get their cube all the way across the board is going to be the winner. So what do I like about this game? First off, I like the theme. What can I say? I like huskies. They're adorable, they're cute, and there's something to me that is fascinating about dog sled racing. It's insane because it's so cold. You would not catch me in a million years doing it. But it is neat, the whole idea of how it works and what they do, and it's sleeping out in the cold and like covering the huskies in snow so they sleep. It's crazy stuff, crazy pants. So I do like that. I like that it is the most family-friendly of games you can find out there, because there's so many Kickstarter games. We know it's about monsters and dragons and spaceships and all that stuff. No, this is about a dog race. It's very nice, very sweet, very friendly. But what makes the game work the most for me is the preparation phase. Because it does behoove you to be the first one done. Because then you might just knock someone out of the game because they don't finish. But if you're zipping through, you might not know everything that's coming up. Or maybe you haven't planned really well for everything that's coming up down the way, because you can be done first. But that means maybe you don't have the best combination of huskies to pass all the terrain later on. So it's a balance there, and I think that balance is really interesting. Along with that, you can easily see what the other people are doing, what their plans are. So if you're the type of person that likes a little bit more aggression, you can do a little hate drafting in there, which, again, might hurt you as well, but maybe that's something that you want to do. And so I think all of that is actually really interesting and really plays well, and what's fun about it is how well you do in the second part of the game is completely reliant on how well you planned and how well you drafted. And to me, that is very, very cool. Then the second part of the game, it's just quick and easy and simple. And what really works for me is if you have a bunch of people around the table that have played before, you can all do your stuff at the same time, which makes the game pop. It goes very, very fast. And I think when you're playing the game without everyone kind of doing stuff at the same time, it feels a little slow, but when you're doing it all at the same time, it really, really moves, which I think makes this game work. So what are my quibbles with the game? Well, the first one is, as I say, often with games of this size, there's not a ton of depth to it. Yes, you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of that preparation at the beginning, but after that, the second phase of the game, I don't want to say it feels rote, because that sounds really, really mean, and it's not. It is enjoyable, but you're doing the same type of thing. Most of the game, most of your brain power is going to come in the beginning of the game, and yes, you can perhaps outthink people and do a really good job of using your care cards to activate Huskies again in the second part of the race, but if you've done just a really crummy job of drafting your dog team and someone else has done a really good job, you're gonna lose. Just the way it is. And so that might not be something that you particularly like, because there is more planning required than you might think when you check out this game. And then the only thing I'll say is, now this is just a prototype that I've had, is I really hope that they get little dog meeples or something, because right now they're just little cubes, and ooh, what a bummer, because you look at the art, it's super cute. I mean, look at this. That's cute. Give me some cuteness. Don't give me cubes, give me cute. So there you have it, folks. That is Hike. You can check out the description for a link to how you can get your own copy of the game. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.